All right, it's no secret that the Clintons have become exponentially more wealthy since Bill Clinton left the White House. Now, think about this. Since 2001, back when Hillary Clinton told reporters they were dead broke, and they might have been, they amassed about $200 million in personal income, predominantly from speeches.
And that's just a fraction of the $3 billion they have raised for their political campaigns and for the Clinton Foundation. $3 billion. So how did they do it? Best-selling author Peter Schweizer follows the money in a new documentary called Clinton Cash. Take a look at this.
Have a foreign corporation or a foreign government that wants something from the State Department while Hillary Clinton is Secretary of State. They will make a large payment to the Clinton Foundation. That will be followed by favorable action on their behalf.
All right, well, here now to break it all down for us is the author and the film's executive producer, Peter Schweizer. Good morning, Peter. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, great to be with you.
Thank you. Tell us about the film.
Well, the film really walks people through very real examples of how the Clintons have basically become wealthy by peddling government influence and power. And what's interesting about this story is we're not talking about, Wall Street or large oil companies in the United States. We're talking about foreign governments and foreign corporations. That's, I think, what's so shocking about what the Clintons have done that's unprecedented with any other political figures in American history.
And, Peter, we all read the book, and it was a bestseller, but I watched the movie 2 weeks ago. I went over there with Bill Hemmer, and it's unbelievable how it's spelled out. And I walked away thinking this: would they be this blatant about these scandals, knowing that Hillary Clinton was queued up to run for president? Why would they take any risk, let alone put this out there?
Well, that's a great question, Brian. It's hard to get into their heads, but what I would speculate and say is that, look, there has been a pattern of behavior with the Clintons for a long time, going back to when Bill was president, when he was governor of Arkansas. They always play it very, very close ethically in this way, and they've gotten away with it. They haven't paid the price. So I think when she became Secretary of State, America's chief diplomat, they basically viewed it as an opportunity to cash in. You gave that figure that they've had $200 million of income from 2001 to the present. From 2007 to the present, it was $170 million of that. So they were doing pretty good before she became Secretary of State. Once she became Secretary of State, Bill's speaking fees tripled. The amounts and the quantity that they got from overseas went through the roof. They cashed in. There's just no other way to say it.
Sure. And, Peter, there's no doubt that a former president can get hundreds of thousands of dollars to give a speech. But when you are a former president who is very popular, but your wife is the sitting Secretary of State, suddenly that that figure you can get goes up because it looks like, and if it quacks like a duck, it looks like there's some influence there, doesn't it?
No, that's a great point, Steve. I mean, look, every president since Eisenhower, when they left the White House, has hit the lecture circuit, and I don't in principle have a problem with that. The problem is when your wife is America's chief diplomat and your speaking fees, Bill Clinton's, triple overnight, and you've got people like Nigeria and Russia showing up offering you $700,000 for a single speech when they weren't interested in having you speak before, and these same people have things sitting on her desk at the State Department, and you just take the money? I mean, it's ridiculous. They know precisely what's going on.
Peter,
where does the foundation fit into all of this?
Well, that's a great question. The foundation is also a means for influencing the Clintons. Look, if you are a foreign government or a foreign corporation, you can't give money to Hillary Clinton's political campaigns. You can't give to a super PAC, but you can give to the foundation. And by the way, Hillary Clinton herself set up international ethics standards that said bribery includes not just money given to political figures, but given to their charities. So just because money flows to the Clinton Foundation, it is still a bribe if it's done for the purpose of influence. And I think the pattern's pretty clear that this money is being thrown at the Clintons because they want favors in return, and they are getting favors in return.
Peter, out of all of your research, out of everything that you found, it seems like you found a lot. What was the most astonishing thing that comes to mind?
Well, that's a very good question and a difficult one to answer. I would say it was probably the Russia uranium deal, where you had this Canadian financier who the Clintons helped get these uranium deposits in Kazakhstan. He then starts buying uranium in the United States. And then in 2009, this small uranium company, you have 9 shareholders in a small uranium company in Canada that gives $145 million to the Clinton Foundation. Ooh. Why did they give it? Yeah. Well, at the time that they're giving it, they want to sell their uranium deposits in the United States to who? To the Russian government, to Vladimir Putin. The federal government, including Hillary Clinton's State Department, signs off on it. So the Russians now have 20% of our uranium deposits. The Clinton Foundation has $145 million more than they didn't have before. Right. These Canadians made a lot of money, and everybody wins except the American people, who have lost this critical asset, which is now owned by Vladimir Putin.
Well, the film premiered at the Cannes Film Festival. It's going to hit theaters or your television shortly, and we'll tell people how to watch it. Peter Schweizer, thank you very much for joining us live today from Tampa.
Thanks, guys.
Tallahassee, that is to say.